Dadaism Movement. Dadaism was a significant artistic movement that emerged in Europe after World War I, lasting from 1916 to 1925. The main goal of this movement was to protest against war, nationalism, and other established institutions. Dadaism involved radical rebellion in art, literature, and other cultural forms, aimed at rejecting traditional concepts of art and society. Characteristics of Dadaism. Changing traditional concepts of art and society. The primary goal of Dadaism was to challenge traditional concepts of art, culture, and society. This movement was particularly a rejection of the horrors and exploitation of World War I. Use of satire, humor, and nonsense. Dadaism used satire, humor, and nonsense to disrupt traditional ideologies. It was a form of protest against the meaninglessness of life and the established beliefs. Use of absurd subjects. Dadaist artists often incorporated subjects in their artwork that were traditionally not considered meaningful. The aim was to include neglected and undesirable elements in art. Use of collage, photography, and photomontage. Dadaist artists experimented with new forms of art like collage, photography, and photomontage, which had not been seen in traditional art forms before. Use of randomness. In Dadaism, art was deliberately created with randomness. There was no fixed plan or form followed in the creation of art. Recognition of anything as part of art. Dadaists declared that anything could be part of art, regardless of whether it was a part of traditional art forms. Protesting against governments and policies. Dadaism voiced its protest against governments and their policies. It was a rebellion against traditional political thinking and social norms. Protest against violence and nationalism. Dadaism expressed its opposition to war and nationalism. It was a revolt against exploitation and oppression. Development of new visual art forms. Dadaists developed new visual art forms, such as collage and sound poetry, with the aim of breaking traditional art forms and presenting new perspectives. The cut-up writing process. Dadaists developed the cut-up writing technique, where words and ideas were randomly combined to create new meanings. Birth and development of Dadaism. Foundation. The Dada movement began in 1916 in Zurich, Switzerland. It was particularly seen as a response to the absurdities and horrors of World War I. Key Dadaist artists. Marcel Duchamp. His ready-made works, such as Fountain, challenged traditional artistic concepts. Hannah Hawk. She criticized women's rights and society through photography and collage. Tristan Tzara, the principal theorist of Dadaism, who wrote the Dada Manifesto. The purpose of Dadaism. The main purpose of Dadaism was to protest against war and nationalism. The movement believed that traditional art and society had contributed to the promotion of war, and therefore, it sought to redefine art with a new, oppositional perspective. Impact and legacy of Dadaism. Creation of new art forms. Dadaism broke traditional art forms and introduced new styles like ready-mades and collage. These forms aimed to challenge the boundaries of art. Cultural impact. Dadaism influenced later movements like surrealism, pop art, and conceptual art. Criticism of society and politics. Dadaism not only criticized art but also viewed society and politics with a negative perspective. The movement was opposed to war, authoritarianism, and prevailing ideologies. Simple, humorous, and disordered art. Dadaist art contributed to a humorous, paradoxical, and disordered approach to art. While this art may seem whimsical or nonsensical, it carried a serious political and social message. Conclusion. Dadaism not only challenged traditional art forms but also used humor and satire to criticize society and politics. Its impact is still visible today in various fields of art and society, as it continues to inspire the breaking of traditional boundaries and encourages innovation.